Hey everybody, I'm Tyler the Crackpot Farmer, and this is the Chill Pill. The Chill Pill is where I take a few minutes to try to encourage people to stop freaking out about politics. So in this case today, I don't really have too much to tell people to stop freaking out about, more of just encouragement that things are actually changing. So now I'm still getting the odd person say, well, what did you guys actually accomplish with all these protests? And the majority of Canadians disagree with you and all of those kinds of things. That's a load of hogwash. And I know that in my heart, but sometimes I still question it. But you see, we had something happen a little while ago, a couple days ago, that actually really warmed my heart up, and it really encouraged me and reassured me that we did accomplish things. So we've been down in the city for the past few days, which is why the videos have been kind of sporadic, because we're at the end of a 9-month-long science experiment. 1 plus 1 does indeed equal 4. So we've been in the city for a few days. So while I was driving around, actually walking around the city, I saw a massive Canada flag hanging off of the balcony of a house not too far from where we were. So I had my toddler out, and we were walking around because she loves Canada flags, which is really cool. So we walked down to go and see this flag, and I saw a sign in the window and said something about freedom and go truckers go, and I thought, I have to go and knock on these people's door. So took my toddler up to the random stranger's door, knocked on the door, and I said, hey, you don't know me. I went to Ottawa. I saw your flag, I saw your sign, just wanted to say thank you guys for your support. It's really nice to see something at home because not seeing much anymore. And hardly even got that out of my mouth, and they welcomed me into their house and stood there with my toddler and talked to these people for like 15 minutes. Absolutely fantastic. They were not able to come to Ottawa even though they really wanted to, but they really supported what we were doing. And so it was really cool to just be able to walk up to a random stranger's house, introduce, not like they didn't know who I was, didn't see any of the videos or anything like that, and just we connected over the fact that we felt the same way about our country. We had soft hearts towards each other, even though I'm sure that we have great differences in what we do for a living, the type of music we listen to, our religious beliefs, those things. We have so many differences, I'm sure, but those didn't matter because we knew that we had a common cause. It was really heartwarming to stand there and just to talk to these people that I'm sure I'm going to be lifelong friends with, just on the fact that they were waving a flag outside of their house. So as I was walking away and going back to where we were, I was thinking to myself, that right there, that is my Canada. That's what I want my country to be like. I want people to be able to walk up to a stranger's door and to be able to talk to them and feel welcomed by them. That's my Canada is about. It's about people who care for their country and care for other people. In a rural area where I live, we're quite different than you are in some of the urban areas. I have my closest neighbor to where I live is 2 miles away. The lady who drove my bus when I was in kindergarten, she lives only 6 miles away. You gotta drive 12 to get there. She only lives 6 miles away. And there was a time when I got off her bus when I was in kindergarten until, it would have been 16 years later. I had not spoken to her since that time. We lived that close. But even though we hardly talk to our neighbors sometimes because we're always so busy, we wave at them on the road. We don't actually have sit-down conversations with them. We know that we can call them when we're in tough times. So that the lady who's driving my bus, her and her husband are also farmers, and they're quite a bit older than I am. They're on their way out of farming. They're retiring. And so a few years ago, we had a really rough go of farming. We had snow and rain like crazy. Our harvest was delayed. Things were terrible. And they just showed up at our field, which was nearby to them. And they would not take a penny for anything that they were going to offer to us. They just said, put fuel in our combine. We're going to help you guys finish up harvest. Even though we hadn't talked to them in like 10 plus years, that friendship and that relationship was still strong. Because that's how we have to operate out here. We have to be able to rely on each other because things happen. We have machinery breakdown, we get stuck, something like that. We can't always be around to help ourselves. We have to rely on our neighbors out here because we are so far from anything. And so I'm really glad that I've had the opportunity to grow up in an area like this where we have to live that way. And I really wish that people in the cities would have to come out and see how things happen out here, where people have to be interdependent on each other so that we aren't just hiding in our own little homes. That we're not just, we work in this bubble and we drive in this bubble and we stay at home in this bubble and maybe we play video games or watch TV or whatever, and we don't really interact with our neighbors and people around us. I'm not saying we have to get out and interact with people all of the time, but we do need to try to make an effort to get outside the house, establish friendships and establish relationships and those kind of things, because we can't function on our own as people. We have to function with other people. We have to have people to lift us up and support us, and we in turn have to lift up and support other people. And that's what I envision happening for our Canada. I envision people getting back together, establishing relationships and being able to be reliant on each other, and that as people can help each other solve the problems. We don't need to have big government solve our problems. We'll talk about more of that later. But anyways, I just wanted to remind everybody that your Canada is what you make it. You have to start with yourself. If you want to change the world, you have to start with you. And if you have changed yourself, you have changed the world because you're in the world, so therefore it has changed. So I want to encourage people, make friendships, make relationships. Don't be afraid to get out and talk to some people. Help people who aren't doing so good, and don't be afraid to ask for help yourself. That is what my Canada looks like.